Hello everybody, welcome back to the Assen-TT circuit here in the north of the Netherlands. This is the 18th round of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of the Netherlands. Challenging conditions so far this weekend. Over the course of Friday, Saturday, a lot of rain fell on this man-made circuit in the confines of this famous road race facility. The third year in a row in which we've been here now for MXGP, but with blue skies and a nice cool breeze today. Conditions are improving lap by lap. It's getting drier and drier, still sticking in one or two areas, but there's been some great racing out on track so far today. An overhead view of this circuit shows how small the racetrack is in significance to the racetrack on the outside, but we're right in the north of the country, the North Sea just across the way. And as you say, stiff breeze starting to blow here around this racetrack. Good crowd in here today, getting ready to cheer on their heroes around this 1,500-meter long racetrack. Team report coming up next, though, between the HSF Logistics Motorsport KTM squad. See what these guys have to say ahead of this weekend's race.
My name is Erik van Galen, and as from June this year, I am part of team management of HSF Logistics. We're happy that all three riders are on board again. With Brian, we have the strong one. He's really pushing, and especially in the weather today. With Kelvin, I think we have the smart rider. He's a fluent rider. And with Davey, we have the talent on board. So he's our young talent for the future.
I've been in the team since 4 years now, so it's quite a long, but yeah, I like them very much. They are very good to me, and I think they bring me where I'm now, so I'm very thankful to them.
I switched last year from Red Bull to HSF, and the switch actually went quite good. I'm really happy with the team. I feel more, I'm good friends with Brian, but also with Kelvin, and yeah, we train like 4 or 5 times in the week.
I thought I was ready for it coming into Qatar, but we found out in Qatar that I actually wasn't ready. The first overseas GPs didn't go how we would want it. It started to get better when we came back to Europe. I started to feel better on the bike.
With Calvin, it's yeah, actually very good because he's also already for a long time in the team. And with Davey, yeah, he's been a long time out because of the injury.
I had an injury the week after my podium in Latvia. That put me out quite a long time, 5 GPs I missed.
For this year, we had a goal to be consistent in top 10, a few podiums, and if we look back now at the 18th GP, I think we reached that goal.
I want to get a full good winter preparation coming into the new year. I want to be consistently in the top 5.
My goals for this season were actually to stay on the bike, actually, because last year I had been out for 7 months in total. Actually at the third GP I got injured already, so yeah, it didn't work out. Now it's the same, just stay on the bike and make hours again on the bike.
My goal was to be in the top 5, like almost every race. It didn't happen. I'm a little bit disappointed about this year, but sometimes this happens. So I have at least 1 podium. I hope for more. 450, I think that will be the bike for me in the future, because on the 450 you have more power. So there the weight will be like less problem. I think the 450 will be a much better bike for me.
Right, There's the riders heading out on their sighting lap. That was a quick look behind the scenes at HSF Logistics, but a few moments ago, Lisa Leyland caught up with Glenn Koldenoff and
it's almost
Kendra
time for
Dyker.
MXGP Race 1, but before we get things underway, I wanted to speak to a rider that we've seen a lot of over the years, but maybe for not much longer. It's Kendra Dyker. Ken, I was speaking to you on Friday, and you said perhaps you at the GPs is going to be no more. Just tell us about that.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Huh? I think almost 15 years now riding GPs every year after year. And the last 2 years I had quite big injuries, and now yeah, I just cannot get the speed up to those guys in the front. So it's just time to do something else. Life is not only motocross. I think for me it's going to start an whole other period of my life now. So I'm quite happy with all the years that I had, and I'm thankful for everybody who stood behind me and helped me.
And I guess looking back, you've got some fond memories here in the sport.
Yeah, of course. I had memories I cannot achieve somewhere else, and yeah, I'm so happy with all how I did it and everything. So it's been good for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, enjoy your last race.
Thank you.
Okay, Kendra Dyker there. Next rider I want to speak to is Glenn Koldenoff, home rider here. Struggled a little bit yesterday. Had a problem at the start. It looked like his bike stopped, but he actually said that perhaps it was his fault. He was here, but as always, he's disappeared. So I'm going to come down here if I can find him. He is, he's all the way down here. Glenn, just a quick word. Let's talk about yesterday. Trouble at the start. How was the qualifying?
Yeah, you know, I had a small issue in the start. My bike stopped, but I think it was a mistake for myself, and for sure today it won't happen again. So no, actually the racing was good. You know, I came from that last. I came to 8 and made a small mistake and came back home in 9. So I think well, it was fine. Today the track is a little bit better, and I'm feeling good. So I'm really looking forward.
Home round, you're strong in the sand. If you got your friends and family here to support you, is it a busy weekend aside from racing?
Yeah, definitely. You know, there are a lot of fans here for me, especially my Hof support team. They are all here, so they couldn't come to some other races. They were on holiday and stuff. So for sure, now everybody will be here, and it's nice to ride in front of those guys. And
also, possibly later on, you could have some celebrations with your teammate.
Yeah, normally it's going to happen this moto, I think. No, he had a great year, I think, and you only have to finish inside the top 16. So I think normally it won't be an issue. So I think we'll have some party tonight.
Can I come?
Yeah, you're welcome.
We'll have a good race. Thanks for that, Glenn. Good luck to all the guys there. It's MXGP Race 1.
Helemaal opgenomen tot het Voorbekroopcafé en we gaan gewoon naar ja, daar komt hij! Zo dadelijk voor de hoofdstemming. Ik heb dat eens. We hebben een goede voor deze. Een lichaam als een kathedraal. Waar zijn we hier? In de kathedraal. Ja, de kathedraal. Dat klopt inderdaad. Nee, het lichaam dat moet...
Coming into round 18, the penultimate round of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of the Netherlands. Antonio Cairoli has a 96-point advantage over his teammate, Jeffrey Hurlings. Gauthier Paulin, 32 points further back with De Salle, 1 adrift in 4th, and then Geiser back in 5th place. That means that Tony Cairoli just needs a 16th place or 5 points from moto number 1 if Jeffrey Hurlings wins the moto, and that will be a 9th title sealed for the Sicilian. But 30 minutes plus 2 laps around this Assen circuit is a very long time indeed. Here's what happened in the MXGP qualifying race on Saturday. Charging down on what was a sticky racetrack after a lot of rain. Jeffrey Hurlings was at the inside as Tim Geiser grabbed a whole shot. Febvre wasn't too far behind either. He was in 3rd behind Gauthier Paulin. Also up there was Kevin Strybos on the 22. Hurlings around the outside, went from 5th to 3rd as Ken de Dijker expired on the 24 MX Honda. Hurlings was doing a good job. He was up in 2nd behind Tim Geiser, ahead of the 21 of Paulin, Fevre and Van Hoorbeek, who went by his teammate on the 2nd lap to be the lead Monster Energy Yamaha rider. Strybos then launched an attack from around 6th place. Started to make moves on Romain Fevre. That would have to wait till later on in the race, though. Hurlings was looking good in 2nd as he went after Tim Geiser for HRC MXGP. Tony Cairoli was a little bit further back, but Hurlings made a mistake, then was passed by the 21 of Gauthier Paulin on the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna and had it all to do again. So at that point of the race, Hurlings was in 3rd. Simpson, watch this, decided to eat tarmac for dinner. He crashed out of 11th position. He would not join the race. The Wilvo Yamaha rider did say he was okay, but then Hurlings put the squeeze on Gauthier Paulin, lent on the Frenchman. He bossed him into turn 1, and that was for 2nd on lap 5. Tony Cairoli came from the back just inside the top 10. He made that move on Strybos to get himself into 6th. And then he went after the Yamaha of Romain Fevre, Monster Energy pilot, just going through the motions, didn't say he was riding good. Cairoli then fell. So he threw away that 6th place, picked himself at 11th, eventually came home in 10th. Were the nerves starting to show, or was it just a simple error? In the last few laps, Jeffrey Hurlings started to close in on Tim Geiser in the battle for the lead on what was a very, very difficult racetrack. This whole straight here, watch Geiser. He had a moment almost in this exiting the same place as last year, where his bike ended up launching into the catch fencing there. But Hurlings did go through, around the outside, and into the next turn. He just slowed the pace down nicely as he went past Geiser, and that was Hurlings through. Geiser then fell. He picked himself up in 2nd, just ahead of Gauthier Paulin and Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, who was the lead Monster Energy Yamaha rider at that point, and the Suzuki World MXGP machine of Kevin Strybos in 5th. But Hurlings, the man of the moment, he gave the fans exactly what they wanted. A win, first time of asking, and a qualifying race victory here at Assen. And they are packed to the rafters today, folks. As the riders take their positions down on the gate, Jeffrey Hurlings will line up on pole for the 5th time this year on his Red Bull KTM, ahead of the HRC MXGP machine of Tim Geiser, the Rockstar Energy Husqvarna of Gauthier Paulin, Monster Energy Yamaha's Jeremy Van Hoorbeek, and Suzuki World MX2 Suzuki rider Kevin Strybos. 5 different manufacturers in the top 5 placings. That's healthy. Fevre was 6, Bobryshev 7, Nagel, Koldenoff and Cairoli, your top 10. Koldenoff stalling on the line as the gate dropped. I was talking to Max Anstey, who qualified in 11th place after the qualifying race yesterday, and he said the gate here is different. Normally when the gate falls back, it's an absolute flat line across the gate and onto the dirt, but there's a slight rise. He said, don't be surprised if you see riders wheeling more coming out of the gate this weekend. It was the same at Lommel, apparently, where when the gate drops, there's a slight rise over the gate, so it just forces the front wheel up. But Tony Cairoli on course and on the verge of lifting what could be a 9th FIM World Motocross Championship title. This guy here, Jeffrey Hurlings, his teammate, is definitely not going to make it easy for him as he goes in search of another home win. Of course, he's won numerous occasions at Valkenswaard and at Lierop. He wasn't a winner in Sand this year, though, at the round of Europe. That was Gauthier Paulin. Jeffrey Hurlings had to settle for 2nd that day. And the Bullet didn't even take a race win on that occasion, where he was still trying to find his feet in MXGP. 2/3 that occasion. Good to see Tommy Searle here on the Monster Energy DRT Kawasaki. Of course, he's going to be preparing for the upcoming Monster Energy Motocross of Nations at the end of September at Madley Basin. The 15-second board is up, though. We're almost ready to go racing. Round 18 of the FIM Motocross World Championship, the MXGP of the Netherlands here in Assen is about to get underway. 30 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Tony Cairoli possibly on the verge of making his own little piece of history as he sweeps through turn 1. He's already won the Foxhole Shot contest, and it's Geiser who spins out, almost takes out Fevre, as riders do disappear at the back of the field as they go through that first turn or two. But it's Cairoli who leads. Geiser is second, Bobryshev is fourth. Where is Herlings? He's in about 6th place as he goes through turn 2. And listen to the crowd, they are on their feet. Herlings knows he doesn't need to rush here, but Cairoli doing what he did in race 2 in the US a week ago, getting a start, hoping to run with it. There was Paul Land. Over the line we go though. Cairoli leads, Geiser is second. Fevre is third. He's found his way past the Honda of Bobryshev, who's now 4th. Van Hoorbeek is 5th. Strybos 6th. Anstey 7th. Herlings in 8th, looking to go around the outside of Strybos and up the inside of Anstey. They're 3 abreast as they head back towards us here. Herlings looking like he's made good time there. 2 passes down the straight for the bullet. There's Cairoli, there's Geiser, the 2 Yamahas of Fevre and Van Hoorbeek, then Bobryshev, then Herlings is there. He has passed Strybos and Anstey. Then we have I think it was de Salle in 9th, and Nick Kallenberg on the Asamoto Honda for Red Moto, and the homeboy looking to impress here. Bobryshev just getting caught and passed by the 2 Yamahas as Herlings, look at Cairoli pulling clear of Tim Geiser here on this opening lap. There's Fevre 3rd, Van Hoorbeek 4th, Herlings now 5th, Bobryshev struggling in 6th to find a rhythm as Strybos goes up the inside. Is quickly going to be followed by Paul Land and Clément de Salle as they head down past pit lane for the first time in this first MXGP race, and Bobryshev squeezing the Suzuki rider Strybos to the inside. Be interesting to see what the gap is as they hit the Monster Energy finish line for the first time. Great crowd here this weekend. Grandstands full this side, all the VIP sections and all the boxes filled on that side. Another successful Grand Prix here. The MXGP of the Netherlands already. There is Jeffrey Herlings starting to carve his way through. As we said, doesn't need to rush. He's found his way past Bobryshev. He's going after Jeremy Van Hoorbeek as he hits the finish line. It's Cairoli, Geiser, Fevre, Van Hoorbeek. Herlings in 5th. Bobryshev in 6th position. Fastest man on track though, and the fastest lap of the race so far at 1:38.4. MX2's fastest lap was on the opening lap. That was Paul Jonas at 1:38.1 in Moto number 1. Don't want to give away the results there though, but that's just a lap time comparison as Herlings dives around the outside of Jeremy Van Hoorbeek and making the sand conditions look very, very easy. Of course, Jeffrey Herlings will probably say that this place is flat. Could do with being a little bit rougher as he just washes the front end there in that left. Picks himself up, didn't even blink. Watching him lift the front wheel, he's nice through there. Surprised Jeremy Van Hoorbeek was hitting that both wheels on the ground. That's the kind of difference that Jeffrey Herlings makes when he rides in the sand. There's Geiser going through in 2nd, Roman Fevre in 3rd on that blue Monster Energy Yamaha. Herlings here now in 4th, and Van Hoorbeek in 5th. Cairoli was 4.2 seconds clear of Geiser, 8.6 seconds ahead of Jeffrey on lap 1. Still looking menacing is Tony Cairoli as the back end just kicks aside as he hits that little single. See those edges starting to appear. Herlings takes a sly look across there, sees his teammate coming through in the opposite direction, just about doubling his way through the last 2 doubles there. Cairoli a 40.4, so that 38.4 on the opening lap, 2 seconds quicker. That's the kind of turn of speed that Cairoli seems to manage in the opening laps of a race. Geiser 4.5 seconds down, Fevre 6.7, Jeffrey Herlings 8.5, so he's gained about a 10th on his teammate Tony Cairoli. And here he is giving chase to Romain Fevre as they battle over 3rd very, very soon indeed. And this is where Herlings is very quick all around this part of the racetrack. Stood there this morning just watching him through, dance his way over these rises and the crests and the hills, the holes, everything. Look at him just jumping longer, landing on the downside, nailing those sand turns, quick pull of the tear off. Look at him doubling in and makes light work of Romain Fevre. He pulled that back from about 2 seconds just a couple of corners ago. This will be a riding lesson now for Roman Febvre. I don't mean that in a disparaging way, but just that he can latch onto Jeffrey Hurlings and see what he's doing, see where he makes up the difference maybe. Jumping over the hole there, you see, landing at the base, and everybody else just keeping it nice and short. So they're the kind of areas that Hurlings making up time, going after Geiser now in third. And then, if he can, he'll find his way onto the rear wheel of Tony Cairoli. Cairoli will have his time at the head of the field, no doubt about it. He'll want to win if he can. But Jeffrey Hurlings just knows he's got his hands full, does not want to get denied a victory here at home. He is, quote unquote, the fastest rider in the world in the sand. That was certainly in his MX2 days. Listen to the crowd roar as he now crosses the line in third place. Just 5.7 seconds down. And he's gained 3 seconds that lap, a 39.5 compared to a 42.3 of his senior teammate, Tony Cairoli, who's just at the end of this straight now. The next rider in his line of sight is Tim Geiser. And with 24 minutes plus 2 laps to go, it's Cairoli, Geiser, Hurlings, Febvre, Van Hoorbeek, your top 5. Jeffrey Hurlings gets his head down, didn't make the best start in MXGP. Race 1 is home Grand Prix here, the MXGP of the Netherlands. It's round 18 of the FIA Motocross World Championship, making 1 or 2 little mistakes as he goes in pursuit of Tim Geiser for HRC MXGP, the MXGP, well, double world champion for the last 2 years, MX2 and MXGP. And Geiser starting to home in on Tony Cairoli himself. So all of a sudden, it was 5.7 seconds between Cairoli and Hurlings at the start of this 4th lap, and only 2.4 seconds between Cairoli and Geiser. And it looks like Geiser might just be closing in. Whoa, knack your way through the turn there, Tony. Doesn't want to be doing that too often. Oh, there is that Red Bull KTM. Has 2 stabs at the cherry through that right hand of the final turn, and then can't get the double through the early part of the waves there. That's going to cost him time of 41.5. Not a bad lap, but 2.5 seconds between him and Geiser, who is a tenth slower. Jeffrey Hurlings is going to get that gap down to 4.9, so 140.7, only marginally quicker. Tony Cairoli is in charge and in control of his own destiny here. Can he win the world title with a race win? He only needs to finish 16th, remember, if Jeffrey Hurlings was to win this first moto. Looking further down the order in terms of the championship race for third, Paulin is in 8th place in the moto, and Clément de Sal, the number 25, if we lost to Sal, yeah, he's down, he's out of points at the moment. He has dropped down the order. I'm hoping that's a timing glitch, but I don't think it is. So Clément de Sal has fallen, and that is going to hand big points to Gauthier Paulin in their battle for third. So Jeffrey Hurlings. Jeffrey Hurlings just continues to push on here. He was put to the task in moto number 1 last year, of course, as an MX2 rider when conditions were pretty heavy. He did win the GP, though, that day as an MX2 rider, but not before he was pushed and harassed and harried by his younger teammate, Jorge Prado, and then Thomas Covington with the race win in moto number 2. The gap between the top 3, 5.4. Cairoli responding, but not enough. Jeffrey Hurlings just struggling to close down. Oh, I'll tell you what, Geiser very, very close, perilously close to the edge of that jump there. He was almost off the side of the track, and it gets very soft over on that part of the racetrack. Being told that Clément de Sal fell either on the finish line jump off the side of the track or the next jump off the Ippon jump. So we've seen 2 or 3 riders go off the side there today. He is back up and running, though, is he? No, he's down in 29th place. So not looking good for De Sat. Jeffrey Hurlings, though, closing in on Tim Geiser. This is the battle for second place. Kai Rowley can't do any more than he's doing, and he's re-established himself at the head of the field. That is not a 3.4 second gap anymore between him and Tim Geiser. Kai Rowley with 8 titles, Geiser with 2, Jeffrey Hurlings with 3 titles, 13 World Championships there, and Guy in 4th place, Romain Febvre, also has one. So 14 titles in the first 4 positions in this MXGP Race 1 here at Assen in the Netherlands. Red Bull KTM's Antonio Kai Rowley hits the Monster Energy finish line here. He has a gap now of 4.7 seconds over Tim Geiser on the HRC Honda. Jeffrey Hurlings losing toe and contact with Kai Rowley, though. He's in 3rd. He's being roared on by the crowd here, but Kai Rowley is getting away as Hurlings wheelies onto the first of those holes, onto the second. He's gone past Geiser. Listen to the crowd roar. He goes into second. Watch Hurlings now. He has clear track. A 1:39.8. He was still 4/10 slower than Kai Rowley that time around. But it'd be interesting to see what he can do now, though, that he does have that clear track, that he can ride his own lines. Whoop, doubles in, hits the brakes. He knew he was going to overjump. Constantly got one finger on the clutch, Jeffrey Hurlings. Right, so different to everybody else in the sand, just ready to use it to hop over things. Does he wheelie on the face here? No, but he continues to jump a little bit further than everybody else. The other side of that Tac Heuer jump. Right, he will look up and you'll see Kai Rowley just ahead of him, heading down towards turn 3. He's definitely making it difficult for Jeffrey Hurlings. That gap is definitely coming down at the same time, though. Kai Rowley out of the final turn. Can he get the double? Watch Jeffrey Hurlings here. Single, 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 then double maybe. Yes. So a lot cleaner, a lot more efficient through there than Kai Rowley's been the last couple of occasions. And it's a 1:39.331. His fastest lap of the race, but not the fastest. That was 1.3 seconds quicker than Tony Kai Rowley. Kai Rowley now 4.5 seconds clear of his teammate Hurlings, coming towards us now. Geiser in the background in 3rd. Febvre and Van Horbrecht for Monster Energy Yamaha, 4th and 5th. 16 and 17 seconds off the lead, which is Kai Rowley. Max Anstey, Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, the lead Husqvarna rider, is in 6th. Kevin Strybos, 7th for Suzuki World MXGP. 8th, Gauthier Paulin. Koldenhoff, 9. Bobashev, 10. The Ottaviano Husqvarna of Tano Leok is 11. And then Philip Bengtsson, Sean Simpson for Wilbo Yamaha MXGP. Tommy Searle, Monster Energy VRT Kawasaki. Up to 15th is Harry Kulas, Rui Gonçalves, De Dijker down to 17, Lupino 18, Sven van der Meerden and Max Nagel rounding out the top 20. But Kai Rowley can see, Jeffrey Hurlings can see Kai Rowley getting ever so closer, even as they head down past pit lane. It was 4.5 seconds. Hurlings is closing all the time, though. Fastest first sector of the race, a 23.1, a full second quicker than Kai Rowley on this lap. Sector 2, 19.8, so another half a second pull back there. Kai Rowley 2/10 quicker on sector 3. And for Jeffrey Hurlings and Tony Kai Rowley, it'll all be in the lap time at the end of this straight. Listen to the fans. Football type crowd. He was a little bit shaky through there. 40.1 Kai Rowley, 39.7 again, another 4/10 quicker. It's coming down ever so slightly, but there is still 15 minutes plus 2 laps to go in MXGP Race 1. Geiser off the side of the track, and he's got to run along the narrowest of margins there. He overshot the berm at the top of the straight there, and that is going to cost him dearly. And Romain Febvre might be right back in contention as Geiser rejoins the track at the end of the straight, if he can rejoin the track at the end of the straight. There he is there, just at the top of the hill. Watch this. Yeah, there's Geyser. He went straight over the berm. Had to run it along here. There's all kinds of obstacles there. TV cables and little fence blocks and all kinds of stuff. Back markers starting to come into play. Jeffrey Hurling's starting to catch them. Look like that might be the number 32 of Milko Podosek. If it is, he's in 27th position. And Hurling's just getting held up ever so slightly through there, through turn 1. Fans on their feet cheering every inch of this racetrack for Jeffrey Hurling's. It is a physical circuit. It's demanding, it's tough, it's deep, it's treacherous, it's rutty. It's dry in places, firm in others, deep and boggy in some of the corners. Double, hits the finish line jump now. The gap is 2.4 seconds. The crowd sense Jeffrey Hurling's may be on his way to 25 points. There is Kai Rowley. That's the difference between the two teammates at KTM. Kai Rowley and Hurling split by a back marker as they head down this straight out of turn 5. Geyser lost about 12 seconds that lap, trying to get himself back onto the circuit, but he is still 8 seconds clear of Romain Febvre. Oh, nicely done there. Jeffrey Hurlings goes to the inside. Kai Rowley, you know what? You've got to give this athlete a lot of credit. Written off 2 years ago, written off last year. He's come back fighting this year. Even last week when he thought he could clinch the title in the second moto in the USA, he pulled a hole shot, he disappeared. He made it very difficult for Jeffrey Hurlings to close in. He was a little bit too deep there though. And that one mistake that he made was just unfortunate for him, and it was a rare mistake. But he's done the same thing here, but Hurling's looking to sneak up the inside, and Kai Rowley runs him wide and looks at him again as if to say, right, you know what, that's going to be the last challenge. You take it, you take the race win. Still Jeffrey Hurling's race to lose though. Kai Rowley might be able to relax a little bit more now, though he's got Hurlings just ahead of him. He'll certainly want to push him, that's for sure. Game on, whichever way you look at it, folks. Hurling's your new race leader, a little untidy coming out of the final turn. And Kai Rowley strikes back. Kai Rowley, wow, the 32-year-old, almost 32-year-old, launches his attack right back past Jeffrey Hurlings. He holds a tight inside line. Hurlings looks across, thinking, right, what's he going to do? Is he going to stop in the turn? Kai Rowley just keeps those wheels going. He's off the side of the track, and Hurlings will respond here at the inside. Kai Rowley knows that. The fans on their feet, and atmosphere out here is just electric. Can he keep Hurlings honest? Van Horbeke down to 6th place while this is happening, because Max Anstey has gone through into 5th on his Rockstar Energy Husqvarna, but that looks like Hurlings with 12 minutes to go. That might be the nail in the coffin, and that might be him just disappearing up the head of the field, and he might just leave Kai Rowley there in second to claim his hands or lay claim to that 9th world title. It's eluded him for 2 years due to injuries and one thing or another, but he may just get the job done today, and he might just happen in race 1. There's still 11.5 minutes plus 2 laps to go though, and it's now Hurlings who leads, Kai Rowley second, Geyser, Febvre and Anstey now your top 5. Jeffrey Hurlings heads down the home straight through the waves. Fans roaring their approval again as he hits the line for the 11th time here. He has a gap over Tony Kai Rowley of just 1.5 seconds. Kai Rowley is not going to throw in the towel just yet. He will still be there, applying the pressure from behind, hoping that Jeffrey Hurlings makes a rare mistake in the sand. Kai Rowley would love to win this one with a race win, wouldn't he? Win the title with a race win. There's the 49 of Jörny Eert on the Maurer-Gep Husqvarna. Geyser, Team HRC, MXGP back there in third, still 12 seconds behind these two. There's Hurlings just wheeling nicely onto that single. Ooh, nervous look over the shoulder there from Jeffrey Hurlings. Probably feeling like he's putting everything into it, and Cairoli is still there and thinking, okay, might have to just up the pace a little bit more, trying to break the 8-time champ, soon to be 9-time champ. Van Hoorbeek out. Not a happy rider. Looks like he's in a little bit of discomfort. But Hurlings still not able to break free from Cairoli. Lap time of 40.1 and a 41.9 last time around. We're about to hit the line again now. Back marker just doing his best to stay out of the way there. Hurlings may have just increased that gap from 1.5 seconds to 2.2, so 3/4 of a second in it that time around in Hurlings' favour. We almost lost the front there. Wheelies onto the face of the jump. Cairoli does the same. Back markers at the end of the straight here. Sure, the other riders out on track as they're getting lapped by Hurlings, and Cairoli will be able to hear. And Geiser off! Geiser off at the finish line. That is just before the finish line. Cross-rutted in the waves. Oh, over the bars. Oh, that is a big crash. Geiser is very lucky there. I won't be surprised if he squashed a couple of ribs in that. Oh, trying to get that thing fired up. So Fevre now third. Geiser just going down the leaderboard like a stone. Hurlings. Cairoli gesticulating at the back marker there, held him up. Has he got enough in the tank just to launch one last attack, or has he had that toe broken by that back marker? Here's Romain Fevre, Monster Energy Yamaha. He is in third place, but look who is just behind him. And it's Max Anstey. He's now got himself up into fourth place, finding a way past Strybos. Here he is about to hit the Monster Energy jump in the background. That's Ryan Houghton on the iFly JK Racing Yamaha. He's just outside of the points at the moment. But on the Tag Heuer jump should be Max Anstey there in the background. Number 99 coming towards us. Let's give Ryan Houghton a bit of airtime. There he is, coming in, just behind Journey It. Those two fighting it out just outside of the points. There's Kino, Big Ken Didika. The number 9, just inside the points in 19th place for 24 MX, as he's about to get lapped here by Jeffrey Hurlings. '47, Brian Boulard off the side of the track there. Slight mistake for him. Cairoli goes around the outside. You know what? Cairoli has not thrown in the towel yet. He was gesticulating at the back marker down past pit lane a lap ago, and it looked like he may have just, you know what, said, okay, that's my opportunity gone. And is that Geiser cruising? I think that's Geiser cruising at the side of the track there. Coming back into pit lane, that was a big hard hit for the Slovenian, and soon to be dethroned world champ from last year. I want to see that crash again, actually, because that was a hard hit from Geiser, and I'm not surprised he is moving very, very awkwardly. Watch this here from Tim Geiser. He caught, he was short there, look, and dug in, front folded, the back wheel all across the back of the Slovenian there. Anxious faces on the looks of Team Honda. Right, Jeffrey Hurlings, 14 laps done. He's only 2.3 seconds clear of Tony Cairoli. He has not been afforded the chance to relax here. The home fans making it a memorable occasion for Jeffrey Hurlings every time he comes through, but Cairoli with 5.5 to go might just have one last throw of the dice here. Damon Growless on the 24 MX Honda does his best to stay out of the way. He has been waved with the blue flag 3 corners ago, taken a very long time to get out of the way. That might have been another gap pulled by Jeffrey Hurlings. Here he is here, wheelies nicely onto the face through those ruts. Kai Rowley hits them both wheels and then it's just a little bit slower. Gets held up in the turn. He has had a fantastic season, Antonio Kai Rowley. No doubt about it. Like an old wine, gets better with age. Hurlings just ahead of him, dealing with back marker traffic as best he can as he heads down towards turn 3. Kai Rowley, you just sense now, might start to just back things off a little bit. He's got about 37 seconds gap over Romain Febvre. We've seen how tricky that wave section is through there, catching out Tim Geiser a moment ago, forcing the outgoing champ out of the race. 4.2 seconds the gap between Hurlings and Kai Rowley now. Febvre is third. He's over the line any moment now. We wait for him to come through. Still waiting for Romain Febvre. Oh, Brian Boulard. There he is. Almost right on cue. So Febvre over the Monster Energy finish line now. 41 seconds down on Kai Rowley, 43 down on Hurlings. He'll be pleased that it's another podium race finish at the very least. He knows that he can still fight for a podium here this weekend as well. That's the gap between first and second. 4.2 at the start of lap 16. Hurlings not able to completely get rid of his teammate, who continues to push on. I think he's still pushing here, Kai Rowley. Lap time last time around was a 43.6 compared to the 41.7 of Hurlings. See if he's got it back down to less than a 43. That'll tell us this time around, won't it? So 3.3 seconds, yeah, quicker than Hurlings. 42.4, 41.5. Not done yet. Just like the whole of his 2017 season. Tony Kai Rowley with just under 2 minutes plus 2 laps to go. MXGP Race 1, the 18th round of the FIM Motocross World Championship here at the MXGP of the Netherlands at Assen, the infamous Assen TT circuit in the north of the country. A tough, challenging racetrack for the youth of today. This kid here, no spring chicken anymore, but you wouldn't know that from the way that he's riding and has been riding throughout 2017. Will be 32 years old soon, later this month. And he's still dogging the guy just ahead of him, Jeffrey Hurlings, and that gap is coming down. It's not 3.3 seconds anymore. This is going to be a 3-lap race, a 3-lap dash for cash. Tony Kai Rowley wants to go out winning this title in style, and he wants to do it by taking a race win, 25 points, and humiliate his teammate Jeffrey Hurlings in the process with a win on home soil. The gap was 3.3 last time around. The fans are on their feet. They know they're in for a grandstand finish here, no matter what happens. The gap is just now 2.7, a 42.1 and a 41.4, respectively, for Hurlings and Kai Rowley. behind them in fourth place, Max Anstey lapping 2 seconds a lap quicker than Romain Febvre. He's only 8.9 seconds down on the Frenchman at the start of the previous lap. We're still waiting for them to come through, so we might even see Anstey take third in the dying stages of this race from the Yamaha. Right, so but Romain Febvre is out. Romain Febvre has stopped, and has he stalled the bike? He starts the bike, and that might be Anstey closing in, so Febvre, his own drama. He's about to cross the line. Is he still third? I think he is, just. Lost a couple of seconds, no doubt. But where's Herlings, where's Cairoli? Here they are. The two-lap board will go out this time around. Herlings cannot afford to relax. Tony Cairoli doesn't need to challenge Jeffrey Herlings at all, but he is doing. And Herlings is making one or two little mistakes here in the closing stages of this first race. Fans on their feet. The noise here is electric. Febvre is still third by about 2 seconds over Max Anstey, so Anstey could in fact take away third on the final lap from the Frenchman Romain Febvre on the Monster Energy Yamaha. Still work to do though. The two-lap board goes out. Herlings a 1:42.4 and Tony Cairoli a 41.7. That gap is, I'll tell you what, the back marker there almost wiped out Cairoli. Is there just too much to do here for Cairoli in the closing stage of the race? Here's Herlings just out of the screen. Here's Cairoli, those two 1.9 seconds apart. Watch his back marker here. Cairoli swept in from the outside. The back marker had no idea that that was what was going to happen. Very, very brave move there from the champ. Herlings, sublime. But what can you say about Cairoli? He is eating away at that lead. Jeffrey Herlings knows it as well. He has to up his game if he is to stay there. Here's Cairoli, 32 years young. Down past pit lane for the penultimate time. Herlings and Cairoli separated by not 1.9 seconds anymore. More traffic ahead. That looks like the number 12 of Max Nagel. Is that right? Max Nagel? So Max Nagel is about to get lapped here. Sean Simpson just ahead of them. So they're lapping up to 11th and 10th. So Simpson, a former Grand Prix winner and race winner around here, is about to get lapped by both Jeffrey Herlings and Tony Cairoli. They're about to enter the final lap. The fans are on their feet. They don't know who's going to win here. We know that if Cairoli finishes the race, he is going to be world champion, but he has to finish 16th or better to do that. He is taking the fight to Jeffrey Herlings, who has not been used to being put under this kind of scrutiny in MX2 or in MXGP. Struggling for Teros. Herlings goes past Simpson. He needs to look over his shoulder and be mindful of what's going on around him. Cairoli looks up. He sees Herlings split him between a back marker and himself, and that's Tanel Leop, number 7, in 9th place. Oh, and Herlings, his attempt, I think, is done and dusted. Cairoli, sorry, his attempt done and dusted because Herlings may be just too far ahead. Nervous moments here for Herlings as he tries to hang on. Hasn't looked back since that corner about halfway through the race ago. Cairoli will continue to push. A real champion's performance. He has gone down in this one, fighting. He tried, and he's still trying. He still believes there's a chance to win this race. There are just 3-4 corners to go. Herlings is being caught here by Cairoli. Is it going to be on the line? And a back marker, no. I was just looking ahead and I thought the back markers were going to play a part. Cairoli has thrown everything into this one. He maybe left his challenge too late. He maybe got held up by a back marker. If he gets good drive through here, can he make the pass? Herlings will win race 1 here at Assen in front of his home fans, but Cairoli is world champion for a 9th time. He ghost rides the bike. That is 3 years of frustration for Tony Cairoli. He finally gets the job done. Fireworks going off. Tony Cairoli gets drowned in champagne. Claudio Di Carli, one of the first to be there as well. And it is pandemonium down here at Assen. Tony Cairoli, he tried to win it with a 10th moto win of the year, but was just denied by his teammate Jeffrey Erlings, who takes his 10th race victory of the year. But what a moment for Antonio Cairoli. Crowned world champion for the 9th time. Hoisted up in front of the fans. That is I wonder if that is the most important world title for him after being written off the last 2 years. Fireworks going off all over the place. Cowbells, all kinds, everyone trying to get their picks there. We will grab a word with somebody during this race. Not sure if it will be Jeffrey Erlings, a race winner, or the new world champion. Jill Cox in amongst the pandemonium down there. And Valentino Ragni, the coordinator, and everybody else trying to just get in there as well and congratulate the new champ, Antonio Cairoli. There he is, folks, your 2017 FIM Motocross World Champion. In MXGP, Red Bull KTM's Tony Cairoli for a 9th time. And here's Lisa Leyland.
10 seconds.
Tony Cairoli, congratulations. You had to wait a while for this, but finally you've got your 9th Motocross World Championship title.
Yeah, we ride very good today, and you know, I don't want to ride just for the points. You know, I want to ride for the win. So it was very nice battle with my teammate, and I'm really happy about the result. And let's have fun also in the second model.
Fantastic job, congratulations.
Tony Cairoli, a 9-time FIM Motocross World Champion. His first came in 2005, he followed that up in 2007. They were MX2 titles, and he went on a rampage then, 2009, right the way through to 2014. He missed out in 15 and 16, but so far this year, 9 race wins, 6 Grand Prix victories, second on 3 occasions and third on 2 occasions. Tony Cairoli is your world champion 2017. I wonder if he will I wonder if he will live out the quote that Adam Wheeler from On Track Off-Road got from him in the press conference yesterday when he said, you know, if you win it in the first race, will we see a different rider in the second race? He said, well, you might see a drunken Tony Cairoli in the second race. And the last time he did a burnout like that, and when he won his 8th title, he blew the brains out in Matchley Basin, if you recall. Oh, sorry, his 7th title, whatever it was. But he couldn't finish the race. But anyway, here's the official confirmation, MXGP of the Netherlands, MXGP Race 1 here at Assen. Jeffrey Erlings, Tony Cairoli, Red Bull KTM's first and second. Max Anstey did get to third on the final lap for Rockstar Energy Husqvarna ahead of Roman Fevre, Kevin Strybos, Glenn Koldenoff, Yanni Bobashev and Gautier Paulin. Tony Cairoli, that plate now gold. Of course, he cannot be caught. Wonder if we'll see some real racing then in the next few races. Joe King, of course. Tano Leop, 9th. Nagel, 10. Simpson, 11. Benson, 12. Harry Kulas, Tommy Searle, Ruben Salvez. Alex Lupino, he was the rider that congratulated Tony Cairoli just at the end there in the interview. Damon Growlers, Sven van der Meerden, Jeremy Delint, and the rider in 20th position then was Journey Eert for Maragep Husqvarna. Cairoli, it's official, is the 2017 MXGP World Champion. Jeffrey Erlings, second. Paulan going for third now with Desau. Desau did not score in moto number 1. He went off track over the Ippon jump down the side on the landing, and just waiting to get confirmation as to whether he will even start the second race or not. So we'll bring you that hopefully after the break. Right, let's take a look at the highlights from MXGP. Race 1, the gate dropped, and it was Tony Cairoli. He'd already won the Fox Hole Shot contest for 2017. He took the lead early on. A couple of riders went down at the back of the field. But it was Cairoli who led, from Tim Geiser, Roman Febvre, Genny Bobashev, and Jeremy Van Horbik. Strybos was in there as well. So too Hurlings, who was quickly making light work of the guys around him. That pass was on Van Horbik, this one on Febvre. That got him into third. He went after Geiser. Cairoli continued to lead, though, at the head of the field, opening up a gap. He was like the rabbit out of the proverbial hat. Get his head down and just put the distance between himself and his rivals. That was Desau after his crash over the Ippon jump. So obviously fell into the barriers there on the landing. Jeffrey Hurlings then went past Tim Geiser, got himself into second, and then started setting fast lap times as he went after his teammate. Had more than one occasion. Cairoli tried to take him wide here. Hurlings went through, and we thought that would be it. Game over. How wrong we were. He came right back at him 2 corners later and took over the lead again, right in front of Hurlings fans in the main grandstand. The gloves were off. Cairoli wasn't going down without a fight. He wanted to win his 9th title with 25 points. Hurlings was making it equally difficult. He was being stubborn as well. Cairoli was offline at the end of the straight. Hurlings went back through and took over the lead again, and the nervous looks on the faces from Cairoli's crew said it all. Geiser out of third with a big crash. The rear wheel of that Honda chewed him up and spat him out. He did not finish the race. And whilst he was in third, the Monster Energy Yamaha of Roman Febvre stalled. He had 8 seconds on Anstie at that point. Anstie did come through to take third, but it was Hurlings who took the race win. Cairoli came home second and took the 2017 MXGP World title. Cairoli with a Fox Hole Shot. Look at the carnage behind him as Geiser got out of shape and almost cleaned up Roman Febvre. Tony Cairoli already winning this contest. He has 15 now, just like the MXGP World title race. Uncatchable, Tony. Let's take a look at some of the best moments then from a very exciting MXGP Race 1. Tony Cairoli then officially confirmed as the 2017 FIM Motocross World Champion in MXGP. Join us in an hour when we conclude here in Assen with MX2 Race 2.